The extreme heat gripping South Korea is now spreading across the capital region. Seoul is expected to hit 38 degrees Celsius today, while parts of Gyeonggi-do province could soar to 39 degrees. The number of heat-related deaths this year has now risen to 19, and authorities are urging people to stay hydrated and avoid outdoor activities. South Korea's cabinet has approved a reform bill that would strip prosecutors of their investigative powers. This would leave prosecutors with the authority to decide whether to file charges based on evidence gathered by police or other investigative agencies, and would only be able to request additional investigations when deemed necessary. Senior U.S. officials say Washington and Tehran could reach a deal as early as Tuesday or Wednesday to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, Iran insists it is negotiating with Oman and not directly with the United States. Hello and thanks for joining us on Arirang News. South Korea's relentless heat wave is now centered on the capital region, with Seoul becoming the hottest place in the country as temperatures continue to shatter summer records. The extreme weather is taking a growing toll, leaving more people dead or hospitalized, while forcing the cancellation of professional baseball games and sending dozens of fans for treatment. Our Lee Seung-jae starts us off.
South Korea's record-breaking heat wave is now tightening its grip on the capital region, with Seoul emerging as the hottest place in the country. The extreme heat that first scorched the country's eastern regions has steadily spread westward, shifting the center of the heat wave towards Seoul and the surrounding metropolitan area. On Tuesday, Seoul's official daytime high climbed to 36.9 degrees Celsius, setting a new high for the summer for the second straight day. Unofficial readings in districts including Gangnam-gu and Guro-gu topped 39 degrees. Forecasters say the heat will intensify again on Wednesday, with Seoul expected to reach 38 degrees, while the cities of Hanam and Osan in Gyeonggi-do province could soar to 39 degrees. The prolonged heat is also taking a growing toll on public health. The Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency says 2 more people died from heat-related causes on Tuesday, bringing this year's death toll to 19. The number of heat-related illnesses has now surpassed 2,200 nationwide. Health authorities reported 186 new cases in a single day, raising the cumulative total this year to 2,221. The scorching weather has also disrupted professional sports. The Korea Baseball Organization canceled 2 Tuesday evening games because of the extreme heat. The NC Dinos versus the Doosan Bears in Seoul, and the KT Wiz against the Kia Tigers in Gwangju. At another KBO game between the SSG Landers and the LG Twins in Incheon, 25 spectators were treated after showing symptoms of suspected heat-related illness. 2 of them suffered serious symptoms, including a reduced level of consciousness, and were taken to a nearby hospital. With dangerous temperatures expected to continue, health officials are urging people to stay hydrated, avoid prolonged outdoor activities, and seek immediate medical attention if signs of heat-related illness appear. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
South Korea's cabinet has approved a sweeping reform bill that would bring major changes to the country's criminal justice system. Our Blue House correspondent Song Yoo-jin explains more.
The first step toward normalizing an abnormal criminal justice system. That's how President Lee Jae-myung described the amendment to Korea's Criminal Procedure Act approved by the cabinet on Tuesday.
수사 기소 분리는 이러한 비정상적 형사 사법 시스템을 정상화하는 첫 출발입니다.
The amendment strips prosecutors of their remaining direct investigative powers. It will leave prosecutors with the authority to decide whether to file charges based on evidence gathered by police or other investigative agencies. They would only be able to request additional investigations when deemed necessary. Previously, prosecutors could directly question suspects or witnesses and collect additional evidence after receiving cases from police. Speaking ahead of the cabinet's deliberation, Lee argued that prosecutors have long exercised excessive authority across the criminal justice process, from investigations to prosecutions.
검찰 내의 일부 집단은 기소를 위해서 수사할 수 있다라는 이 권한을 무소불위로 악용하며 있는 사건을 덮거나 누군가를 정해놓고 처벌하기 위해 별건 수사, 먼지털이 표적 수사를 관행처럼 되풀이해 왔습니다.
At the same time, Yi acknowledged growing concerns over concentrating investigative powers in the hands of the police, saying follow-up measures would be needed.
명백한 수사상의 비위를 저지른다 그러면 최소 해임 파면해야 되지 않냐. 제가 보기에는. 아니면 아예 영구적으로 수사는 앞으로 하지 말고 다른 일 해라.
The revised act requires police to complete supplementary investigations requested by prosecutors within 1 month. The deadline may be extended by up to 1 additional month. The investigative rules until now allowed up to 3 months, but the amendment shortens the time frame and codifies it into law. And those who fail to comply with requests for supplementary investigations could face disciplinary action, while cases may also be reassigned to another investigative unit. The revision will take effect on October 2nd, the day 2 new government agencies, one responsible for investigations and the other for prosecutions, are set to be launched. 송유진, Arirang News.
North Korea leader Kim Jong-un's sister Kim Hye-jong says Pyongyang will drop additional military options in response to Japan's expanding strike capabilities. In a statement carried by state media on Wednesday, Kim Hye-jong cited Japan's participation in U.S.-led drills in the Philippines and its first live launch of a Tomahawk cruise missile on July 28th. She accused Japan of restructuring its forces for preemptive attacks and overseas operations. Tokyo signed a deal with Washington in 2024 to acquire 400 Tomahawks between 2025 and 2027. The missiles have a range of up to 2,500 kilometers. Kim claimed the test involved a weapon capable of reaching North Korea and blamed the United States for enabling it. Over in the Middle East, diplomatic efforts are gathering pace to restore shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, which remains largely blocked. Washington and Tehran have both reported progress. Our Lee Soo-jin has more.
A deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz could be reached within days, according to senior officials in the Trump administration. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Tuesday that Washington was involved in talks between Iran and Oman aimed at allowing more vessels to pass safely through the waterway.
I think that there's a conversation and negotiation that we are involved in between Oman and Iran on how more ships can be able to go through there safely in the short term as we move towards these longer-term talks about denuclearization. And suffice it to say there's been progress made in those talks, but not finality yet. We're hoping that will happen very shortly.
While Rubio was cautious to stress no final agreement had yet been reached, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent was more optimistic. Bessent said an agreement could come as early as Tuesday or Wednesday to allow vessels to travel freely through the strait. But he did not directly answer whether Iran would be permitted to charge ships for passage. Tehran, meanwhile, maintains that it is negotiating with Oman, not directly with the United States. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ismail Baghai described those talks as positive and ongoing. Said on Tuesday that they were focused on creating safe shipping lanes while protecting the sovereignty and national security of both Iran and Oman. The strait remains largely blocked following the outbreak of the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran in late February. Lee Soo-jin, Arirang News.
U.S. stocks rallied to record highs on Tuesday after reports that negotiations between the United States and Iran over shipping through the Strait of Hormuz had made progress, easing concerns over global energy supplies. The Dow Jones Industrial Average surged 1.71%, while the S&P 500 climbed 1.79% to its first record close in 2 months. The tech-heavy Nasdaq jumped 2.59%. The optimism also sent oil prices sharply lower. Brent crude for October delivery fell 5.3% to settle at $79.36 a barrel on the ICE Futures Exchange, while the West Texas Intermediate crude for September delivery dropped 5.7% to close at $75.77 a barrel on the New York Mercantile Exchange. South Korea's foreign reserves rose for the second straight month in July. According to the Bank of Korea on Wednesday, the country's foreign reserves stood at $427.95 billion at the end of July, up $590 million from a month earlier. The increase follows a $370 million gain in June. The central bank attributed the increase to the issuance of foreign exchange stabilization bonds and a rise in the U.S. dollar value of foreign currency assets denominated in other currencies. By asset type, deposits rose by $860 million, while securities holdings fell by $340 million. Korea ranked 10th globally in foreign exchange reserves, up from 13th place a month earlier. Korea's medical tourism industry, long driven by the global K-beauty boom, is rapidly expanding into new territory. Traditional Korean medicine is emerging as a powerful new pillar of the sector, drawing an increasing number of international visitors eager for holistic care. Our culture correspondent Hong Se-jung reports.
Eyes covered and completely relaxed, foreign visitors experience automated acupressure beds, a modern take on traditional Korean meridian massage to boost circulation. Nearby, guests try automated hand massages using camellia oil-infused herbal masks.
It's not like a one-size-fits-all, which sometimes I feel like in America that's kind of how it is. So I really appreciate how personalized it is.
These experiences are part of a wellness program run by the K-Medi Center, an organization dedicated to promoting traditional Korean medicine.
Recently, thanks to its appearance on Netflix's K-pop Demon Hunters, interest in our center has surged, bringing in more visitors from around the world.
In the traditional pavilion, tourists soak their feet in warm water infused with seasonal medicinal herbs like chrysanthemum.
I feel like they have a lot of evidence suggesting that the Korean practices here lead to strong health outcomes, so relaxing.
Long known for cosmetic procedures, Korean medical tourism is expanding into traditional medicine, offering international visitors a uniquely holistic approach to wellness. As interest in traditional Korean medicine grows, more people are experiencing treatments like acupuncture or skin therapy firsthand. Following a thorough consultation and diagnosis, patients receive acupuncture therapy and facial treatments infused with traditional herbal ingredients.
Unlike conventional skin boosters, this formula incorporates traditional Korean medicine. We transformed Hwangneon Haedoktang, a classic herbal remedy, into a modern cosmetic treatment.
As a result, foreign tourists are expanding their beauty itineraries, visiting not just conventional dermatology clinics, but traditional Korean medicine clinics for advanced skincare.
Korea is very good for their health technology, and then also for the skincare treatments and everything. So that's why I want to try for this one, for like the traditional one.
Combining affordability with proven effectiveness, K-medical tourism continues to rise in popularity, with traditional Korean medicine expected to become a key global draw. Hong Se-jung, Arirang News.
As Korean content wins fans around the world, Korean food is also gaining global popularity. Local Korean communities are helping producers to boost their marketing strategies and expand into overseas markets. Our Kim Se-young explains more.
At this traditional brewery in Jeollanam-do province, rice wine known as makgeolli is still made the old-fashioned way, fermented slowly with no artificial sweeteners, much like the process used to craft fine wine.
To make makgeolli as popular as wine around the world, we need to keep our traditional brewing methods and long fermentation process.
Producers from across the province gathered at a trade fair, learning how artificial intelligence can boost marketing and how to navigate tariffs to reach customers overseas.
It's remarkable that the United States is now the largest importer of Korean seaweed, a product Americans once had little taste for.
The fair also featured tastings and exhibits showcasing some of the region's top export products. And officials say an upcoming merger with Gwangju could give exports another lift.
We currently have 11 stores in the United States selling Jeollanam-do food products. Once Gwangju joins, we plan to add natural cosmetics to those stores as well.
Jeollanam-do is aiming for $1 billion in food exports this year. With numbers on the rise, officials are optimistic that the goal is within reach. Kim Seoyoung, Arirang News.
This is the world now. In the United States, police in Washington state on Monday have arrested a man they say deliberately started one of 3 wildfires burning around Spokane. More than 700 homes and other buildings have burned down around Spokane, and 64,000 people have been told to evacuate. Investigators say 37-year-old Aaron Farinacci set a roadside patch of grass alight with matches or a lighter on Saturday. That fire swept out of State Park into wooded neighborhoods, turning homes to ash and melting cars. The fire burned more than 10,000 acres on the northern edge of Spokane, a city of 230,000. It is still not contained. No deaths have been reported, but officials expect that to change as crews reach areas they currently cannot get to. SpaceX has beaten Wall Street's expectations in its first earnings report as a public company. But its shares fell on Tuesday due to higher than expected spending on its artificial intelligence business. Revenue came in at $7.8 billion, well ahead of forecasts and up from $4.7 billion in the first quarter. But SpaceX poured $15.8 billion into artificial intelligence, more than double what it spent in the first 3 months of the year. Investors worry that spending on that scale will not pay for itself, and the stock slipped in after-hours trading. Starlink, its satellite internet service, has passed 12 million subscribers, doubling from a year earlier. Guatemala is on alert after the Fuego volcano erupted on Monday, sending gas and ash into the sky and sending lava down its slopes. Emergency officials have moved at least 659 people out of 8 villages into shelters and expect about 10 more communities to follow. A major highway near the volcano is closed and schools in nearby towns are shut. The Fuego volcano is one of Central America's most active volcanoes. An eruption in 2018 killed hundreds of people and wiped out an entire village. In Japan, 3 lions have died within a week at a zoo in western Tokyo, and staff believe the heat was the cause. Autopsies found dehydration and multiple organ failure in all 3 animals. A zoo representative said on Monday it is, quote, the first time we've experienced anything like this. 3 more lions are still unwell and unable to stand. Across Japan, more than 43,000 people have been taken to hospital for heat stroke this summer. Chu Ji-hyun, Arirang News.
It's another day with dangerous heat. We are tracking extreme blistering heat focused on the western regions this week. Please stay hydrated and limit outdoor activities. We're talking about life-threatening heat right now. And not only during the daytime, Korea is enduring one of its worst stretches of tropical nights on record. And there could be passing showers of 5 to 40 millimeters in the capital area in Jeollanam-do province. But that's not going to help much to ease the heat. It will only make things muggier. Meanwhile, Jeju Island will see 5 to 20 millimeters of showers through tomorrow. And until those showers, blazing sunshine will bake much of Korea at a high of 38 degrees Celsius in Seoul and Gwangju. Daegu will make it to 36 degrees. Unbearable heat will stay with us for a while, so please take it easy and take care in this extreme heat.
That's all we have for today's noon edition of Arirang News. Thank you for watching. We'll be back at 5 p.m. Korea time. Stay tuned.